The What Works Clearinghouse providing reading interventions for students in grades 4 through 9 practice guide provides evidence-based recommendations for supporting students' reading and writing development in intervention settings. In this video, I will demonstrate preparing and using a stretch text with a group of students. This practice is part of Recommendation 4, provide students with opportunities to practice making sense of stretch text that will expose them to complex ideas and information. Throughout the video, notice that I, in preparing for the stretch text lesson, purposefully select and read the text to determine logical stopping points for group discussion. Consider an array of strategies to support students to read aloud, and pause at the stopping points to discuss the section of text. This text about a young environmental justice activist will be a great stretch text for my students. I've chosen it because it includes opportunities for students to gain fluency while decoding multisyllabic words, as well as expand what they know while using background knowledge they've developed. This text contains a lot of information that students will need to keep track of, so I've planned logical stopping points strategically. This will give us the opportunities we need to discuss and make sense of small sections of text together. I've also thought about the best approach for reading the passage together. For this group of students and this text, I've decided to use a mix of choral reading and independent reading for more challenging sections. For sections for which students have more background knowledge and can read with more fluency, we'll use choral reading with all of the students reading together. For sentences with words or concepts that will stretch students and for which I'm planning a stopping point, I'll prompt them to read independently and I'll check in with them to differentiate instruction. Some of my students are working on decoding complex multisyllabic words, so I'll prompt them to use a decoding routine to solve, then reread the sentence fluently. Other students are working on generating gist statements with more independence. They are able to locate important information. Now, they are practicing putting the author's ideas into their own words. When I check in, I'll ask them to use the gist routine, and I'll emphasize summarizing what they have read using words that are different from what is in the text, but that still maintain the meaning and demonstrate overall understanding of the author's message. This text is about a young woman who lived in Flint, Michigan, who saw a problem and decided to do something about it. Find that first word. I see your finger, right? And we're just going to start reading and then we're going to stop and understand together. Then we'll go out and we'll read individually and then we'll come back together and make sense of the text together. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and read together this first paragraph. Ready? Okay. Individuals of all ages can make huge impacts in their community. All right, so here's what you're going to do next now that we've read that first section. You're going to read individually to yourselves. You're going to read, and I want you to use gist statements and write those gist statements as you're reading. You're going to read and we're going to check in and talk, and you're going to read and we're going to check in and talk too. Sound good? Mm-hmm. Go ahead and read, and as you're reading, think about what you are learning and how you can summarize to make sure that you're understanding. Go ahead. Okay, can you read loud for me?
In 2014, the water in
Use the sounds.
in Flint,
That's the
Michigan, started to look and taste
This is a good one to use that decoding routine for. So you found the first that first prefix. What's the first prefix that you found? So you circle it, right? Go ahead and circle that. All right, and the last prefix is that AL. Oh. And the last suffix.
Yeah.
You can underline the sentence? All right, let's go ahead.
You
All.
unusual.
Go back to the beginning of the sentence and listen to yourself.
In 2014, the water in Fulton, Michigan started to look and taste
Use the long U here.
unusual. Unusual.
What does that mean?
Like say you find something that's really strange and you think that shouldn't belong there, so you say, "Oh, it's unusual. That's unusual," like that.
That's strangeness, right? That means not, so not usual.
Yeah.
You know how water's supposed to taste.
Yeah, and look.
And look, and you know when it's gone wrong, right? All right, let's check in. Are you finished reading?
Yes.
Okay. So what did you read about in this section? Let's come up with the gist. What would you say is the most important place or thing or person? What would you
The
say?
most important person is Mary Copeny.
Yeah, and she's right in the title, right?
Yeah.
In this section of text, does it talk a lot about her?
No.
No. What is it talking about?
It's talking about that the water in Flint, Michigan started to look and taste unusual.
And it's like you've just reread that sentence. You're really good at finding that literal information. What we're going to do is we're going to circle that most important piece. And this is about the water in Flint, Michigan. So we can go ahead and circle that. Go ahead and circle it.
Just the water in Flint, Michigan?
That's the most important thing in this text, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. The next step is to list the most important information. So we need to mark it. What is it that we learned about the water in Flint, Michigan that's so important? What's the problem?
That it started to taste weird.
It started to, it tastes weird and different. Is that a word that the author used? What did the author say?
Unusual.
Unusual. You said weird and different. Those are synonyms, and that's really helping me understand that you are thinking about what the author means and that you're understanding it.
Yeah.
What else is the problem?